The Incredibles are everyone's favorite superfamily. The computer-animated tale of a family of superheroes, the Pars get drawn out of a forced retirement to face the evil Syndrome and his killer robot. Now with 2 films, the superhero family is on top of everyone's mind, especially since no one can stop talking about how adorable young Jack is. But did you know that Violet was bald for most of the film's production? Or that the no capes rule was there for a special reason? So to refresh your memory, we've compiled these 10 incredible facts from the movie that won the 2005 Oscar for Best Animated Feature Film. So in today's video I will show you the top 10 secrets you didn't know about The Incredibles. So let's dive into the video. Number 10. It was the first Pixar film to star humans. It takes a will of steel to hide your superhero talents from a world that still needs you, yet no longer appreciates what you can do. Battling a bulging belly and a boring job, Mr. Incredible longs for the glory days of upholding law and order while his superhuman family tries to fit in with their normal life. But did you know? Before the film, which was full of human activities, Pixar had focused purely on non-human main characters like bugs, toys, fish, etc. This is because the technology to animate people in a believable way is much trickier than creating cartoon-style monsters and ants. Hair in particular is particularly tricky to create, which is why Violet was bald for most of the editing process. They only added her hair right at the end. Number 9. The director plays Edna Mode. Edna Mode is one of the major characters in The Incredibles. She returns in Incredibles 2 and Aunt Edna, the latter in which she is the deuteragonist. She is the film's famous superhero fashion designer, with her number 1 motto being, "No capes." Originally, there were actors lined up to play her, but then the film's director Brad Bird had been filling in the voice during production, and in the end the filmmakers decided his interpretation was too funny to pass on. There are lots of theories as to who inspired the cranky fashionista, including Anna Wintour, the famous scary editor-in-chief at Vogue. She is one of the few female Pixar characters voiced by a male. However, she is voiced by actresses in some foreign language versions of The Incredibles. Number 8. Most powerful character. Someone can say Jack is just a baby, but did you know? He is likely the most powerful superhuman in the world of The Incredibles. He had no powers in the first movie until the end, when he was able to turn into some kind of demon to escape the clutches of Syndrome. Then, in Incredibles 2, he showed how powerful he really was. Among other powers, he can shape-shift into just about anything, phase through things, teleport, and turn himself into a powerful giant monster. He can also develop superhuman strength and durability, crawl up walls, create duplicates of himself, shoot lasers from his eyes, create electricity, levitate, and more. Despite being the youngest member of the family, Jack has the widest array of superhuman abilities, most of which are centered around shapeshifting. Number 7. Metroville. The Pars live in Metroville, which is a combination of Metropolis and Smallville. This fictional city presumably resides somewhere in the US and was once the home to many superheroes before the city forced them into retirement. It then became a quiet little city, free of villains and superheroes battling it out on the city streets and destroying public property and endangering lives. As any fan of The Incredibles knows, though, things didn't stay quiet in Metroville forever because villains never like to live by the rules. Think about the name of the city, though, Metroville. If it seems somehow familiar, it is. The city's name comes from 2 famous cities known to comic book fans, especially Superman fans. The first city is Metropolis, the city that is known for one of the most popular superheroes of all time, Superman. But before Superman was a superhero, he was Clark Kent and he lived in Smallville. This is where the Ville part of Metroville comes into play. Number 6. The first Pixar movie rated above G. In The Incredibles, there are a few things that seemed more mature than a typical G-rated movie. For example, Helen worries about Bob having an affair. Syndrome mentions something about getting busy in a line about Helen and Bob. Helen and Bob constantly indulge in PDA. There are also some scenes of fighting in the film, although nothing gets too bloody. There is even a scene where Mr. Incredible saves a man from taking his own life. It is a superhero movie, after all, so some violence is necessary. When one thinks of Disney and Pixar, one usually thinks of G-rated movies, solely intended for young children. But then Pixar broke the mold with The Incredibles, which became the first Pixar movie to receive a PG rating. Number 5. The Ratatouille connection. Metroville is full of villains. You've got the big-name villains, such as Syndrome, But there are also a lot of more small-time villains, such as Bomb Voyage, who is a recurring villain throughout Mr. Incredible's time as a superhero. Bomb Voyage was a mime-faced Frenchman who taunted Mr. Incredible every chance he could get. He eventually escaped the clutches of Mr. Incredible, though, and disappeared into oblivion. Or did he? Because Bomb Voyage also appears in a later Pixar movie, Ratatouille. As Ratatouille takes place 15 years after his last meeting with Mr. Incredible, Bomb Voyage looks older and a lot worse for the wear. He appears in Ratatouille as a balding pot-bellied man. Number 4. 2 stars went on to live-action superhero movies. One of the best parts of The Incredibles for adults is the voice acting of Samuel L. Jackson behind Frozone. Not just anyone could portray a character like that, after all. A lot of that had to do with Bird insisting that Jackson was just so cool that the film had to have him. Samuel L. Jackson is more than just the snakes on a plane guy. He went on to star in the Marvel Universe as director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury. Jackson isn't the only one who went on to become part of a superhero universe. The voice of Helen Parr, also known as Elastigirl, Holly Hunter also became part of the comic book-inspired world. She went on to portray Senator Finch in Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Sure, she already had a lot of acting credits under her belt before taking on Elastigirl, but it's her role in the superhero movies that fans will remember her for most. Number 3. It's the only Pixar movie without the Pizza Planet truck. In Toy Story, there is a restaurant known as Pizza Planet. It features predominantly throughout the movie. That restaurant also delivers and has a signature yellow truck that gets seen a lot in the Toy Story movies. That truck appears in a lot of other Pixar movies, too. In fact, it's one of those Easter eggs that most fans can count on in a new Pixar movie. Up until The Incredibles came out in theaters, the truck appeared in every single movie Pixar made after Toy Story. Yet, for some reason, it's missing from The Incredibles, making that movie the first one without the delivery truck. Number 2. The Invincibles. One of the hardest things about a movie isn't the making of the movie itself, though. Sometimes the hardest thing is just deciding on a title. And in the case of The Incredibles, the title had to serve as the name of the Parr family's superhero name as a group. Interestingly enough, though, they were not always The Incredibles. In the early stages of the film's production, director Brad Bird revealed the original title of the film was called The Invincibles. What's even more interesting, though, is that the codename for the movie was simply Tights. The Incredibles certainly seems to work better than The Invincibles or Tights, so it's a good thing that the studio decided to change the name early on. Number 1. The villain was based on the director. It's no secret that many animators model their characters from real people. Sometimes, they actually bring in models or study voice actors' features to get characters to look just a certain way. This guarantees that those characters will come across well on screen. This was the case with Brad Bird. Let's look at Syndrome. The villain has very distinctive physical features. He also looks nothing like his voice actor Jason Lee. If you look at a photo of Bird and then look at Syndrome, you start to see the similarities. Syndrome is almost a caricature of Bird. This was intentional, although Bird had no idea that his animators planned it. Those are the 10 secrets you didn't know about The Incredibles. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, make sure to subscribe to us for more videos and tap the bell icon to get notified with every video from us. See you in the next video.